我看一下哈，对，宇阳或者 Vivica，你们都可以帮忙设 co-host 的吧？还是不行？
不行。
哦，那行，我来弄一下，
啊，谢谢。
我来 Anna 对吧
对，
？co-host，然后是
还有
Where are
United
you？
Blossom One，
两个 Zoom One 吗？
应该设了一个，另外一个也会。
都给你吧。
好好，谢谢。我本来是用我自己的 email login 的。
好了，Live 已经上线了，你们可以 check 一下。
对 Live 挺好的，我看到了。
好，那我们可以放大家进来吧。
好的，开始啦。
开始了，然后是9点半正式开始。OK，之后就交给那个宇阳了，辛苦，
谢谢于洋，谢谢于洋。
Ladies and gentlemen, the Leadership Summit is about to start. Please be reminded that this event is recorded and live streamed at YouTube. Before the summit begins, please mute your microphone and turn on your camera if you might feel comfortable, so we can see your lovely faces. Thank you. Professor Mock, Dr. Chapman, Mr. Ricky Chen, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the United Board Leadership Summit 2021. I'm Dr. Yu Kang, a research fellow of the School of Graduate Studies, Lingnan University. It is my great honor to serve as the MC for today's session. Now, let us first watch a welcome video from Dr. Nancy Chapman, President of the United Board.
Good morning and spring greetings to you all. On behalf of the United Board, I welcome you to the United Board Leadership Summit, hosted by Lingnan University of Hong Kong. To Professor Ka-ho Mok and other colleagues at Lingnan, we express our warm appreciation and gratitude for all that you have done to bring us together today. The theme of this Leadership Summit, Rethinking Higher Education Leadership During and After the COVID-19 Pandemic, is very timely given all of the disruptions, changes, and adaptations that the pandemic has forced upon our colleges, universities, and societies more broadly. Higher education continues to face extraordinary challenges brought on by or accelerated by the pandemic, and there's no question that it will emerge from this crisis significantly changed. The role of visionary leaders with the ability to anticipate the world that is emerging, not just respond to immediate crises, is more critical than ever. But no one has all of the answers about what higher education should and will become in the post-pandemic period, and this makes this gathering all the more valuable as a forum for all of us to share perspectives, concerns, and insights as we make our way through these multidimensional challenges. Nurturing holistic leadership for higher education in Asia has always been a goal of the United Board, expressed most tangibly over the past 20 years in the United Board Fellows Program, inaugurated in the year 2002. By the time of our centennial in 2022, the United Board Fellows Program will have graduated 263 United Board Fellowship alumni. We are delighted that many of you are joining us at this summit to reconnect with your peers and contribute to conversations about your leadership roles before, during, and after the pandemic. Allow me now briefly to turn to our United Board Centennial and share with you our great expectations for this nearly 100-year-old organization. In fact, Great Expectations is the theme that unifies all of our centennial programs and celebrations. It describes the goals of the leaders and faculty of our network institutions, past and present, who translate the principles of whole person education into practice. Great Expectations is also the theme that runs through all of our programs. It reminds us that program participants, like our United Board Fellows, enter our programs expecting to absorb new knowledge and skills and share them with others. They expect to return to their institutions and classrooms with new ideas and approaches to teaching, learning, and leading. And they have great expectations for their students, who they hope will lead lives that are personally and professionally rewarding in service to others. The United Board's vision has always been simple, yet deeply inspiring. We seek to support Asian colleges and universities as they deliver education that enriches students intellectually, spiritually, and ethically. We want to help young adults develop their minds, hearts, and consciences so that they can better serve their families, communities, and societies. For 100 years, these goals have set the foundation for our great expectations for our organization, and they will continue to guide us in our second century. On behalf of the United Board's trustees and staff, I thank you all for your support of our mission and programs and for joining us today. Your trust and friendship are the lanterns that light our way. You help us set great expectations, and you help us achieve them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we also have the pleasure to also invite Mr. Ricky Chen, Executive Vice President of the United Board, to give the welcoming remarks. Mr. Chen, please.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Professor Mock, Professor Neubauer, my UB colleagues and Lingnan colleagues, and of course, the United Board alumni, fellows, and friends. A very warm welcome on a good, very bright, sunny Friday morning in Hong Kong. I'm very happy that you all can join us for this Leadership Summit. As Dr. Nancy Chapman had alluded, United Board is celebrating our centennial actually our centennial will be next year, but we are the celebration's already going on starting from this year. And we have a host of celebration activities that was planned before the pandemic that we could do it all in person. But of course, many of these activities now have gone online, like this one. I would very much to meet you in person, but the situation just make it difficult, and in fact, it's impossible for us to be in person. We had quite a number of activities that we will be putting on for the next year or even to 2023. And before the summit start, I would like to share with you a very interesting piece of our celebration, which is our centennial anthem. We have commissioned a professor in the Chongqing College and a former renowned music professor of the Chinese University to write a music score for us for this occasion of our centennial. And I hope you will enjoy it. And before playing the centennial anthem, I also would like to show you a short documentary about making of this centennial anthem. And I hope you will all enjoy this anthem and also will enjoy the Leadership Summit for today and tomorrow. I wish you all have a fruitful meeting. Thank you.
Thank you for your welcoming address, Mr. Chen. Now let's watch a documentary about the United Board anthem.
The United Board is celebrating its centennial in 2022. It is great to have a centennial anthem to complement with so many celebration activities that we will have in the next few years. We are so grateful that we have Victor Chen, who is the renowned composer and the former Chongqing head, to compose this music for us.
I feel very blessed to be able to serve the Chongqing College for over 30 years. During the course of these 30 years of experience, I was so fortunate to be able to meet a lot of UB friends and colleagues, and somehow that allows me to have a knowledge of the mission behind the UB.
It is even more meaningful when I found out Carmen is actually inviting the Chongqing students to participate in the singing of the anthem for us. And I think having students to be involved and as part of the education experience, I think this is a double benefit.
What I like about this piece is that it has different versions, and for example, the ethical version and this cathedral version. So I have to sing differently for each of them, and I love how it sounds different when we have different ideas in mind.
The reason for proposing these 3 different versions was because UB has a very large community of serving different universities. This piece would best serve the UB purposes if they could be delivered in ways that best serve these vastly different and uniquely different institutes.
And I think this piece giving me some inspiration on how to integrate different percussion instrument and other distinctive character that represents other countries like East Asian country.
It's quite innovative and quite bold, the ideas, having lots of instruments which are quite modern. I think for me the bass drum part is doubling the taiko and helps the taiko to resonate in the piece and gives a very vibrant atmosphere.
A very fun part and unforgettable part is that our last rehearsal we dance while we sing, and to feel the pulse, and it is very important. If we just stand here, we can't feel the pulse easily.
In this song, it requires the organ to be strong and grand, and also have to be delicate in flourishing the entire song, as well as decorative, I would say. I have to explore what Professor Chan wants to deliver in the music, try different approaches to decorate and to polish the song, to deliver the meaning.
The pandemic situation really makes the whole project a bit difficult. Also very encouraging to see the students very responsive and they are happy to join the project. To me, I then think of, oh, it is not only a project, it has to be educational. So that's why when things go on, we were exploring how to tackle the works. All these contributes to how music making is. I would say every time after the rehearsal, it gives me some inspiration and also some, I would say it's like a glucose. It gives me energy to go on.
I find the contrasting style and diversity in the 3 versions is the most interesting to me. In the solo version, it requires a high degree of chemistry between 3 of us. There's a really high level of complexity in the song. It's really challenging and interesting to work with.
I actually, without knowing the difficulty of composing music, I edited some lyrics, ended up you have to rewrite. I'm really sorry about that.
Oh, not at all. Now what is being resulted is much richer and with greater substance. And more importantly, you have produced a 3rd paragraph, which is the core of the message. And I have placed it right in the middle. And there is a very important message, which is really at the heart of it.
So it really is a team effort to come up with the lyrics. And I find the lyrics is very meaningful and really descriptive of our hope and aspiration for whole person education.
It's such a huge thing to be a part of this 100-year celebration.
Enjoy singing with such wonderful musicians.
Everyone enjoys this version of the cherished moment. Wonderful video. Now let's enjoy the United Board Anthem. Wow, lovely song. Let's welcome Mr. Ricky Chen to give a concluding remark.
I hope you all enjoyed the music. I especially enjoyed it myself, and I really truly believe the lyrics really reflects the aspiration of the United Board for our centennial and beyond. As mentioned in the documentary, this music piece actually have 3 versions. Today we only show you the ethnic version of is one of the 3 pieces. The other 2 pieces is, one is a cathedral version, is done entirely with a church organ. And then the 3rd piece is a solo version with just a piano with the 2 singers. The ethnic version, the reason we have this ethnic version is because the number of institutions that we serve across Asia has many talents and many different musical culture. And this piece of ethnic version can be adopted into different countries and with the different percussion and different musical instruments of different countries, which we feel even our music should be inclusive. That would hopefully one day our network institution would enjoy performing it, as well as the lyrics will help to send a message to students and the staff that our aspiration is for whole person education, and education is the way. And of course, we hope the world will be a better place because of education. And thank you. And I hope you all enjoyed this piece of music. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chen. Now let's welcome Professor Ka-Hao Mok from Lingnan University to give the opening remark. Professor Mok is the Vice President, Dean of School of Graduate Studies, and Lyman Chan Chair Professor of Comparative Policy of Lingnan University. The topic of his speech today is Be a Transformative Leader, Learning to Serve and Serving to Learn. Professor Mok, please.
Thank you, Yu Yang, and good morning, everybody. Congratulations to United Board, and particularly thanks, Ricky, for making a beautiful and inspiring and touching song for every one of us. And I think I enjoy the beautiful song with a very important message being presented. Is about the core values of education. And in the last couple of months, I think the whole world has been confronted an unprecedented global health crisis. But this particular crisis has actually humbled everyone, including myself. And we learn from this process of combating this global crisis by looking into different ways in solving the problem. But the central message generated from us together is about togetherness, and collaboration is so important. So I congratulate the United Board for making the contributions in the last, so many years. And I'm sure the song, the central message has already been accomplished with the great work led by the leaders of United Board. So again, I'm very thankful for having the chance to be part a network and University of United Board. And I'm very honored my team and I have received the invitation by United Board to join the project and host today's event. So my talk today is about be a transformative leader. So be a transformational leader. My theme would be learning to serve and serving to learn. It very much echoes the core mission of my university. Lingnan University is founded by Christian body with a core mission, a motto, education for service. Supporting also the United Board's mission, we are serious about whole person development. Education is for what? Education is to creating an environment which is conducive for students. As the song has pointed out, students' futures are our core, mission, and making them whole is also our core mission. But how to achieve, I think it is important as university leaders, every one of us are leaders in the university. When I'm talking about leaders, it's not only about the senior management of the university. Actually, every one of us, including students themselves, they are leaders of university. But in what way we can be good leaders, especially going through the pandemic crisis that we are now facing, I think learning to serve and serving to learn is very much central to my reflections as a university leader of Lingnan. A transformational leader is someone who encourages the motivation and positive development of followers. And I strongly believe a leader with the capacity of transformation also exemplifies not only about excellence in research or quality in education, but the moral standards within the organization and encourage the same of others. So I congratulate Ricky for the lyric in the song talking about, ethical dimension and making our students, our leaders, they think, critically, analytically, but also importantly, making ethical decisions, because our world is full of fake news today. We are exposing our students to different forms of values. Some of them are really contradictory to each other. In what way we can uphold the moral standards, not only for the organization, but hopefully we can encourage our students and our faculty, all colleagues in the university to embrace the moral standards and foster an ethical work environment with clear values, priorities, and standards. But I must say this is not easy these days because we are under strong pressure for performance. But in what way we can create the environment which is still creative, innovative, but with high standard in terms of ethical thinking will be important for university leaders to conceive this development. I want to cite Bernard Bass talk about leadership beyond expectations of performance. He highlights a few very important criteria for our consideration. And a transformational leaders, according to Bass, is a model of integrity and fairness, and set very clear goals to the West, has high expectations, encourages others with support and recognition. Most importantly, it's not only work, but also stir their emotion, make them feel they embrace, they own their work, the journey of reform, the journey of positive change, and get people to look beyond their self-interest and inspire people to reach for the improbable. This is a test for all of us working in university during the crisis time that we are now facing. So I would like to share with you my reflections as university leaders in the context of the pandemic crisis that we are now facing. I think the world seems to be having an impression that because of the under control of the crisis, people feel very hopeless. This is a time for great leadership, because leadership is really needed when people feel hopeless. What kind of leadership we are talking about is a caring leadership for lifting people up. And we have to make decisions, and the decision with faith and also ethical consideration can turn crisis into new opportunities. As the lyrics of cherished moments just highlighted, we must lead our students, our faculty, to reflect about our blessings in the past. As the lyric said, a time to sing and celebrate, even when we are facing the crisis. Because according to the Bible, is a great moment. Many great leaders in the Bible, they've gone through difficult time, crisis, challenges, but with the help of faith, they have gone through. So I like the literature very much. It's shaped by our yesterdays. Do not forget history, because the history can tell us about what we experience and how and what we can learn from the cherished moments in the past. And through this, we can get our leaders, our students, to be excited about the new opportunity and with great expectation as we pray. So during the crisis, I think it's the test for all leaders across universities in different parts of the world to lead our people, including our students, our fellow faculty members, and all colleagues in the university, not to focus on problems and challenges alone, but look ahead about the opportunities for development from comparative and spiritual perspectives. Cherished moments in the past, learning from history how our former generation has gone through the difficult times and how they go through that, would give us the energy and dimension for reflection. And with that, I think to engage people to work towards the strategic goals during the crisis and work with them as team. Leaders should work with colleagues in teams for turning the crisis into new opportunities. And during the very difficult moment, it's a moment of bringing faith, hope, and love to people who are facing difficult times. Engage our student and faculty member to reflect how fortunate we are, because every day when we can wake up, we have a life, we are alive for making change and positive change of the tomorrow with great expectations. So during the crisis time, Lingnan University last year rolled out the campaign, Fight COVID-19 at Lingnan Universities, with three major aspects of work under this campaign: discovery, service, and education, DSE. Discovery is our colleagues and students engage together to form teams, to identify research topics, work together to understand how we work together through research to combat the impact of this particular crisis. We are also committing for service. So our team reach out to other local community for supporting services, for reaching out to the aged, for the poor, in order to help them during the crisis. And most important of all, even though when the whole world is having emergent online learning, Lingnan University insists on both hybrid mode of teaching and learning. When the health conditions are fine, we are very insistent on on-site learning. We give students a choice. Students can choose to come back on campuses and through the online platform, working together with the professor to have interaction between the on-site and online learning environment. Why? Because we believe in interactions. We still believe in the interaction between the faculty member and also students. And peer learning is so important. And through going through this difficult time with on-site and online learning, my student told me how fruitful the experience could be. And at the same time, a serious reflection and how they treasure the moments of coming together through online and on-site. So as the world faces this global pandemic, my university launched this Fighting COVID-19 pandemic. The whole idea is to reach out to the different communities to care. The need for caring is ever more needed to alleviate hardship. And this is what we demonstrate in our reach and also our knowledge transfer activities. So some of the projects I want to share with you, our colleagues and students work together in identifying some topics. They are really very unique when reflecting upon the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on the humankind. Number one is about working from home under COVID-19. We also examined about student learning experience. With this, we can come out with a better devices and better policy and support to student learning. And in our student survey, we found that not only in Lingnan, but over the universities in Hong Kong, and many students, they are not happy about online learning. So in response to the online learning, we create different forms of teaching in terms of teaching delivery in order to engage students during the difficult time, to make them engaged learner. We fully understand and appreciate the challenges that they are facing. So we reach out to them and find the best appropriate way in support of learning. In my conversation with the students, they are so thankful for the university for reaching out to them, especially during a difficult time. And we are also giving them the options. We are not forcing them to come back on campus. For some of them, they are very scared. Their parents are very scared about health conditions. But when conditions are allowed, we give it available for them to come back on campuses. So allow far more students coming back, not only the Hong Kong local students, but also students from the non-local, like from the mainland and all around the world. But we must be decisive in making response to the pandemic change. I cite one example for your consideration. We have some international students from Burma, Myanmar. They face very difficult time. Originally, they could not come to Hong Kong on campus, but because of the political situation in the country, those students could not get on the on-site. They cannot get on the online even. So we use additional funding to bring them back to Hong Kong. After the quarantine, they are now on campus. So we must be very responsive, making exceptional arrangement in accommodating and addressing students' learning need. Of course, we need additional resources, but resources are for supporting students because student futures are core to our business. We also reach out to the local community. One of our team working for the service learning office actually got funding from the Jockey Cup by making use of the ultraviolet to help the subdivided units in Hong Kong, many of them, over 1,000 of subdivided units, by using this sort of very handy rapid disinfection service through the ultraviolet to help those people they are in need. And it's a very simple humanitarian technology, but we engage with our students, working with our NGO, reaching out to the local community for helping them, because they really need to have this sort of support during the very difficult time. They are very afraid and anxious about the impact of COVID-19 on their life, but it's not only about health, it's about care. We also reach out to the elder population, helping them when they are very vulnerable. So we also examine about in what way we can support the general public by providing advice on anti-COVID-19 measures through the mental well-being packages, simple, straightforward instructions during the crisis time that we can share with the local community for enhancing well-being. And we also engage students even though we are facing difficult situation for entrepreneurship. So in the last year, we organized startup project, and students, they bid for different things like technology, humanity, and social society series by startup idea, particularly helping the older people through general technology. And different kind of activities through DSE, research discovery, education and service. So I just highlight here some of our work during the crisis. So my team have never stopped during the crisis because we believe crisis means opportunity. And crisis also means a lot of people, they are in need of help and care. It's a moment, it's a cherished moment for us to work together to caring for them. Because Lingnan University promotes caring leaders. And also, we want to nurture caring professionals for our universities. So we are very pleased that about our work, we got the UGC recognition. UGC also wrote a letter, appreciate the Lingnan University's fighting COVID-19, campaign, which we work together for supporting people that are in need. In addition, we also launched internally CC4U campaign. What does it mean about CC4U? CC4U is closely connected for students. So we organized this CC4U, connecting students to the international research learning community through online. We have online exchange, online internship, online job searches, internationally, regionally, and locally. Because we truly believe our students are under huge pressure, particularly our undergraduates, graduates, they are facing difficult time for getting job. For our postgraduate students, even though they cannot travel physically, we connect them through the online platform, engaging them in serious international experience. We also connect our students to conduct research and reach out to the local society and beyond through the campaign I just outlined above, and connecting our students to co-developing a productive research environment and career development. And the last C is caring students' well-being through different forms of support that the university offers them. I just highlight one of the support that we roll out during the crisis time in order to support our 2020 graduates in facing the adverse economic impact on the present COVID-19 pandemic. My university established a graduate support fund in 2020 to implement a series of graduate support programs, including creating jobs, providing salary subsidy, working with different stakeholders in the local community and business for branching out to them to create opportunity of internship, job for our students. Within the university, we also create different forms of short-term jobs for them to engage our students, or else the university provide additional scholarships for engaging our graduate from undergraduate education to pursue our master program during the crisis time. So given the very positive outcomes of the fund and the associated anti-adversary programs, we are able to extend the program and beyond, because even for this year, this is still a challenge for our young generation to get into the job market. So university has a strong moment, a cherished moment to work with our students because they are in need of our help and working together for creating and co-creating a better future for them. Another program we roll out in support student well-being, actually we set up the Chinese medicine promotion program to help prevent COVID-19 for the elderly and also for our students. We launched this program helping them to have the public health awareness because we understand prevention is better than cure. And we also provide health coupons for students if they don't mind going for having our Chinese medicine and healthcare during the time with us. So this is another support, not only spiritual support, but also healthcare support through well-being. But actually, when the student talk to our professors, they are Chinese medicine experts. They are also professors in Chinese medicine. They talk about Chinese culture, philosophy, and way of life. It's not only about purely Chinese medicine healthcare support alone. And you open the box for them to talk about, well-being issues. It's very important to have more dialogue and talk to each other. So based upon all this, experience, I reflect as a leader in university, I think the great moment, the cherished moment, just the lyric of the beautiful song presented by United Board has mentioned. We are the time to celebrate, a time to celebrate for what? Learning from the past, shepherded by our yesterdays, because we follow the best model set out by the great transformative leader like Jesus Christ. And how we can engage our students and the faculty to learn together to serve, and only through serving we learn more. I myself confess I do not know everything because I'm a very, being humbled by the current, pandemic crisis, and reflecting about how vulnerable humankind can be. But in what way we can learn to serve together, and with concerted effort getting together, we can turn crisis into opportunity and be humble and led by example. I want to thank my colleagues, my students, and all leaders in the university because of everyone's support to join in about the campaign to fighting COVID-19. We actually turned the crisis into opportunity. So being transformative, we must be transformed first, and to transform others through promoting collegial work culture. This is what I strongly believe and learning by these examples. And hopefully we work together to bring faith, hope, and love to the society. Central to all, caring is DNA for servant and transformative leadership. At Lingnan, we care about student education. It's very much echoing about what Ricky has just mentioned for United Board. We truly believe in making our student whole person, because involving the young people to co-creating a better education for them is a very meaningful, experience for myself. So in Lingnan, education is caring for learning. We want to enable our students, they become caring professionals, serving not only their own interests in terms of career development, we very much hope our students to serve the community and beyond. When we are also serious about our research at Lingnan, but our research is to promote impact with care. We care about the community and the wider society, and so that's why we work on research and knowledge transfer. And all research and knowledge transfer can easily be turned into caring projects that are just outlined above. And at the same time, all these caring projects can also turn into high-level academic productions in terms of research papers. So I'm glad that the various COVID-related projects also help our colleagues and students to co-publish. And I congratulate some of my teams. They also produce high-quality outputs internationally by using the data generated from the COVID-related research, knowledge transfer, and action research, and plus community outreach. So I want to end from thanking again United Board for having Graduate School of Lingnan University for hosting this particular event. I want colleagues participating in the event would enjoy the conversation, and it shouldn't be the only one occasion to work together. The world needs everyone to work together. I think this is so important. We cherish moments together for togetherness. I strongly believe we are facing crisis, but crisis can turn into opportunity with faith, hope, and also with our concerted effort working together. So I want to end my presentation by sharing with you a good news. Yesterday, Times Higher Education just rolled out the Impact Ranking 2021. I'm so glad to share with you over 1,200 universities worldwide from 94 countries or regions participating in this particular ranking. And Lingnan University is ranked third in the world in quality education. So this is a very strong indicator in supporting our mission. Our mission is to creating the best environment possible for turning our students to being caring professionals, because we care for learning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Mock, for the informative presentation. Now the floor is open for Q&A. Anyone who wants to ask a question, please unmute yourself or raise your hand. Please first tell us your name and where you come from. Please keep the question short. So is there any questions or dialogues, sharing the experience of your universities?
Hi, Professor Mock. Maybe let me start with a question. Maybe that will spark the conversations this morning. Lingnan University has always been well known for its service learning, and United Board has been working with Lingnan in this regard for many, many years. How would you say whole person education and service learning can work together to make this be part of the true mission of your university, and also sharing with many institutions here, and how could they continue to maybe expand that program so that truly a university can have the student and teacher to step out of the campus and work with the community and serve to learn and learn to serve.
Yeah, thank you, Ricky. I think thanks, United Board, continuous support to our service learning. And actually with United Board, we are co-developing a lot of, program and co-promoting about whole person development together. Thanks again. So at Lingnan, we have made a decision for all undergraduate undergraduation programs. One of the graduation requirement is service learning. So well before we make it as a graduation requirement, actually our service learning has become a very popular learning experience for students. And based upon the students' popularity in terms of service learning, and so that's why we make a decision about 5 years ago, making it as a graduation requirement. We are not composing a student to do so because of their interest. We make it as a part of the graduation requirement. It becomes a very strong incentive for making students to serve and learning to serve and learning to serving to learn. And in addition to that, I think we have to give resources to not only about the office of the service learning, but also faculty member. They are developing service learning elements as part of their teaching and learning activities. And university have to devise different funding formula more practically, Wiki, because everyone has to do research, everyone has to teach, and why some colleges have to bother about service learning. So we create additional resources and creating a mean support team, and the Office of Service Learning offer a lot of administrative support for supporting academic leaders. They are teachers for engaging with the other stakeholders beyond the university to work together for developing interesting components of service learning project. So without support, I think faculty members will be very reluctant because they are also under pressure for producing high quality output. So with that, this is important, and more importantly, because I think our motto is education for service. There's every reason for us to work towards this core mission of Lingnan University. We cannot shy away from. As I mentioned, that even for doing research, we are talking about impact with care. So all these things come together, research, teaching and learning, our motto and mission. And because we present to them, the president and I present to our colleagues, and we are serious about student learning. And even when assistant professor joining Lingnan University, we have a round of interview. And at the end, the president also interviewed those candidates, telling them, you come to Lingnan is not only writing paper and for your career development. And coming to Lingnan, we hope that our colleagues, they also embrace our core mission. Lingnan is a university caring about learning. So that's why we create this environment. It's a kind of DNA of Lingnan, but it has taken us a long time for making it as a core to us. So I'm happy to share with you, and more students, they are enjoying service learning. It's not only about services. They are learning that through innovative way, because we also inject a lot of entrepreneurial spirit in service learning. Working not only in Hong Kong, our service learning opportunities go beyond Hong Kong in the region like mainland China or Asia, and even globally. So some of the team even go to Africa or other part of the developing world for serving the people there. And why? Because we believe in supporting about the UN SDG. The whole university is part of the UN SDG circle. So that's why we are supporting SDG. So thank you, Ricky, for your question.
Thank you, Mr. Chen and Professor Mok. There's another question in the chat box. The question from Dr. Pinto is about what were some of the biggest administrative challenges faced by you and how you worked through them? A follow-up question, what will change at Lingnan University after the pandemic due to the pandemic experiences?
Well, I think it's not easy this day to work in university as a leader, but the most challenging thing is about how to get enough resources to keep good people. Because in Hong Kong, we have 8 universities, even we have 8, we are competitive with each other, thanks to the Hong Kong government policy for introducing internal competition for resources. That's why we can perform well. And this is a huge challenge for a small university like Lingnan with a focus on liberal arts education. But at the same time, the government, when doing the measurement, they also assess Lingnan just on par with other universities in terms of research assessment performance. So in what way we can strike the balance between excellence in teaching and also excellence in research? So we need to generate more resources in supporting our colleagues' work and continues to work. So attracting people to come to Lingnan is not that difficult, but how to retain them as a more long-term commitment to the university becomes a challenge. It is the most difficult part in my daily work. But we have to work together with our team. Hopefully our colleagues can, I think the working environment is again very important, not only about the remunerative Euro package alone. So how to create a more collegial environment to engaging our colleagues to work together towards the university mission is one of the major goals that my team have been working on. So what makes COVID-19's impact on Lingnan? Well, I would say we see more opportunities because, as I mentioned, I outlined the campaign, and we also reflect upon, about student learning through the crisis, and we learn how to work together more innovatively and effectively by engaging our colleagues and students to work together for better learning environment in future. So I see a few hands. I welcome other questions.
Yes, there are 3 hands raised. So let us first start with Mika. Mika, please unmute yourself.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for inviting me on this opportunity. And I'm very glad to meet you again. And I'm very impressed with the sharing. And my question is that I'm working for supporting one NPO school. It is a rainbow school for children without nationalities. And they really have a difficulty because of the pandemic, and they are struggling with the lack of the support from the Japanese society. And now they are trying to find a new resource for the supporters. And my question is that for universities, if you selected that the counterpart of your service learning, do you have any criteria for what kind of contribution to the university do you expect when you select the counterpart? That is my question. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I think, as I mentioned, the question when Ricky asked me the question, I think we are very keen to work with partners all around the world for creating more opportunity for students to go on their own outside Hong Kong, service learning projects. So I think Hong Kong is so, fortunate. We have quite a number of, very good organizations or individuals. They are very supportive to university education, including United Board. Thank you. So that's why we can generate sufficient funding support in enabling our colleagues and also students to reach out to the wider community, not only within Hong Kong, but also and beyond. So if your university or your organization would like to explore collaborative opportunity, working together for co-developing service learning opportunity for our students, we are more than happy to continue the conversation. Please let me know, and I think we will facilitate that. And at the same time, the university also have some self-financing programs, like our master program. They are not funded by the government. And the government actually encourage universities in Hong Kong to generate our other sources of funding, not necessarily reliant on the government funding alone. So my university in the last couple of years also has expanded the postgraduate studies. So we are quite successful, thank our Lord, and in terms of expansion of the postgraduate studies. And so these, student number also generate quite a sum of financial resources for the university. So the senior management can consider by making use of these resources for co-developing more opportunity, not necessarily only focusing on service learning, but other form of learning experience. Take for Lingnan. Lingnan is very serious about international learning for students. In our undergraduate population, over 85% of our undergraduate students, if the conditions of health are allowed, they can go on their exchange program with our over 250 partners around the world. We have over 250 members from 45, 46 countries or regions. So students can choose go on exchange, internship, or service learning. And all these are made available for them. They have plenty of choices. But talking about your question, I very much hope that offline we can discuss. And then my leader in service learning is a Professor Albert Cole. He's the director of service learning. I think he would love to work with colleagues outside Hong Kong for exploring about more opportunity for students, because student future are core to us.
Thank you, Professor Mok. Due to time constraint, we will only take the question from those who have raised their hands.
Okay, thank you.
And colleagues, please first make a brief introduction about yourself and keep your question short. So next, please, Emma Berger. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you. Okay, my name is Vita from Atmajaya Yogyakarta University in Indonesia. So I learned that from Lingnan that you have already got on offline classes, so students coming to the campus. My question is, due to high cases in Indonesia and the dynamic situation, so I want to learn from you, how do you decide? So my question may be similar to Ms. Jyoti Kumar. How do you decide, or what is the system of decision making to accept? Because in my university, in my campus, it's still online, and we have this dilemmatic situation for the next semester. Thank you.
Yeah, it's an excellent question. I think it's a real challenge for all leaders around the world in university, whether it's open or not. But I think the situation in Hong Kong is not too bad. Our local infection cases has gone down, and whenever we make any decision, as I mentioned, we have to make ethical decision. We put our students' health status on our top priority. But having said that, their learning needs is also important. So as I mentioned, we are making the choices for students. If the health conditions allow, following about the government regulations fully by creating a very hygienic, high campus. And also we observe all the health policy and guideline set out by the government and also the university. And when everything is fine, we are just creating the opportunity for students to choose. We cannot force students to come back on campuses. We can strongly encourage them if the conditions are fine, but actually, well, we are well protected, and then students, they are allowed having choices to come back. So, but when they come back, of course, we have to observe the social distancing, and also they have carry mask, and every details we have to work on. And actually, in my class, I have the sitting plan. Students are assigned to the seat, so it is easier for us to trace if anything happened. So I find it very interesting experience. But having this sort of on-site and online together hybrid mode, and our students, they told me how they reflect about their experience, because in the old day when everything was fine, they did not take on-site learning very seriously. And now they think, oh, come on, it's not take it for granted. Having face-to-face interaction and the peer learning is so impressive for them. So again, as I mentioned, crisis can strengthen ourselves. It's a great opportunity for life reflection, with great expectation. So I always challenge them, crisis time is a good time for us to learn to be humble and work together for future with great expectations.
Thank you.
So another hand?
Yes, from Josie.
Good morning. I think I'm Dr. Jyoti Kumar from Christ University, India. I shared the same question as Amelberg. I had put it on the chat also. So I'm not expecting an answer, but just wanted to say that we've really found the meaning of VUCA world now, that things are so volatile and very, very ambiguous. But my question was also that how easy or difficult was decision making at the helm of affairs? Because things were changing every day. So I was just wanting to find out what was that one formula for decision making, which probably.
Well, I'm afraid that there's no one formula at all, but we keep referring to the changing circumstances and making appropriate responses, and also taking not only about the university administration alone. I think the whole thing is about listening and be adaptive and responsive to the changing needs of the society and also student learning need. But even if we are very serious about the on-site, we cannot force students. So we are making the choice available. But most important of all, I thank my colleagues. We also conducted a survey asking students feedback. And based on the evidence, we are making decision making based on evidence-based decision making, but with ethical consideration. At the same time, I don't think that it is also easy to convince colleagues, because colleagues, they are also concerned about health issues. And if any doubt, and the university also provide a system, the president will make the final decision for some application from individual colleagues. They will face real challenge for coming back to the campus for conducting their classes on site. Then the president will consider that on exceptional basis. But if the conditions are becoming very worse, hopefully not, then we may change to go only towards online. But I'm so thankful that thanks again for my colleagues. We work together. But actually, before the policy rolled out, I was the first one starting the hybrid, and I found the response so positive about the student. I found at the beginning technical issue, but I just move around the camera and trying different human means for enabling about our on-site student to talk to our online student. But it was very productive. And I test out with my first-hand experience before I roll out the policy for the whole university. Because I insist to teach, I can reach out to the student. I really know about how they think. And when I'm teaching, I don't think that I'm making policy without making evidence-based decision making. I hope that my colleagues would support that. So this is my additional response to you. Led by example is so important.
Thank you, Professor Mok, and thank you all for the discussions
and thank you all for joining. Thank you. Thank you for your congratulative remark. We have to work hard. Thank you.
And other questions which is not answered will be forwarded to Professor Mok, and he can solve it from the chat box. Now we will take a group photo. Participants at Zoom, please turn on your camera and smile. Please look at the camera, and our colleague will help with the photo taking.
Okay, yes, I will take the screenshot. So please look at your camera and smile, and I will count 1, 2, 3. Because we have so many participants, I will take several to include all, okay? Okay, the first one, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, wait a minute, let me paste this screenshot. Okay, next one. Yeah, we have so many participants. That's great. Okay. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, sorry, wait a minute. Another one. Okay, next one. We have two more to go. Okay, great. Look at the camera. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay. Yeah, last one. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Look at the camera, smile. 1, 2, 3. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We will now have a 20 minutes break and we will move to the next keynote dialogue session at 11 a.m. Thank you. Welcome back. Now let's welcome Professor Ding Neubauer to give us a talk about academic leadership at a confluence of the Fourth Industrial Revolution and the COVID pandemic. Professor Neubauer is Emeritus Professor and former Vice President of the University of Hawaii. Ding, please.
Shall I begin, Yue?
Yes, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, where you are. Good afternoon from Hawaii. I want to begin by congratulating Professor Mak and all of the staff at Lingnan University for their remarkable achievements. I think that they deserve to be noted in every instance. I've been asked today to talk briefly about the notion of academic leadership, and I thought it would be useful to recall in a structural sort of way where we are with respect to the major factors which are affecting the globe. If we could have the next slide, please. We stand in a constant interaction between the Fourth Industrial Revolution and what has become the extraordinary behavior of the COVID pandemic. Even several weeks ago when I was asked to do this and I started, I thought that the world would be much different than it is today. And we see the uptake of the virus in places all over the globe with enormous effect. So there's a presumption here and a kind of egocentric presumption that we can stand at this pivotal moment and pretend that we know what the world is like. I just finished reading a group of books about pandemics, and we are in the midst of what epidemiologists refer to as a once in a century pandemic. The consequences of it are of course unknown. With that as nevertheless background, I thought it'd be interesting to look at some basic elements of academic leadership and to consider how they play in this context. The first thing I thought of when I considered my own institutional positions for many years, I was in administration in one way or another at the University of Hawaii for almost 20 years. I think that there's this thing called institutional acumen, which is having a multidimensional sense of both how one's institution works and how it should work, the actual and the more desirable. I know for many a night I would go to bed and be fully aware of how it was working and wondering if how it should work compared favorably with that. So I think that's a constant in academic leadership, and it's worthwhile not to, I think, ignore it, let it go beyond us. And the other is a sense that we'll explore quite a bit in this session in what I call a societal vision, having a realistic sense of both what one's surrounding society is and its fundamental elements, an informed sense of what it might be given the realities of the drivers of social change. What we heard in the last 2 hours, in some respect or another, especially in Professor Mak's presentation, is right at the cusp of this interface between what it is and what it could be, being driven by powerful social change. Next slide, please. So I thought we'd begin by talking about what I think are some fundamentals, what we all pretty much know, but the fact that we know them doesn't mean they're not important. So I thought it'd be useful to put this in the forefront of our considerations. And let me just say this one, despite the perhaps unprecedented conditions of change within which we find ourselves, we are propelled by this interface between the pandemic and the fourth industrial revolution. And academic leadership, however it proceeds, is going to be framed in both in the strategic and operational sense by these activities. They won't be out there for us to look at every day. They aren't going to be in the front pages of the newspaper. But when we go in the office in the morning and say, what does this institution knows? Both of those factors are going to be there. And we all operate simultaneously within the interface between strategic and operational factors. And strategic factors, just for the sake of having a definition, are those that embody the broad social, economic, and political elements that make up the many environments within which higher education operates. Strategic analysis seeks to theorize, be theoretically critical, and understand at multiple levels the many variables that constitute these environments. It's essentially what higher education theory and analysis is about in universities and research institutes all over the world. Operational factors are what we tend to live with in our institutions on the day-to-day basis, and they embody all of the elements that collectively make up the institutional components. And they too are in constant interaction with the changing circumstances. And even when we aren't having a crisis, as we are now, we have found that these operational factors have powerful change environments and put in place. I won't go into it now, but we've done work over the last 4 or 5 years, some of it with our colleagues at Lingnan and throughout the region, on how the doctoral degree has changed, the PhD degree has changed, and why it has changed, and what are the consequences of it doing so. I think one of the ways, if you're a senior administrator, really an administrator at any level within a higher educational institution, it makes sense to have an awareness, a deep awareness, that you're living in an environment which is in a constant state of change. Now, it's important to continually remind oneself of this, I think, because we live in worlds, in the institutional world, where there's so much routine, and the routine sometimes overwhelms us and blinds us from seeing both the strategic factors, which should guide our attention, and to be more clever and sophisticated and rational with the operational factors. Next slide, please. Prior to the pandemic, and for the last several years, I and my colleagues, including our colleagues at Lingnan, have been trying to figure out what the fourth industrial revolution is going to look like as a set of new strategic factors for higher education. And I thought in this context, it would be useful just to read together a few of these quotes. Building on the third industrial revolution, the mass development of electronics and information technology, which becomes the fourth industrial revolution, or Industry 4.0, has been identified as the growing fusion of physical technology, software, and biology. It encompasses virtually all new and developing technological applications and is creating rapid changes in the ways people live, work, and are interrelated worthwhile. This was Schwab's pronouncement of this at the World Economic Conference in 2016. And I think it pays some reading that carefully because really what it says is virtually everything that we know within a higher education environment is on a pathway to change. And that is not a comfortable situation for most of us to be in. But one might argue, and I'm one of the people who would argue, that the better course of wisdom is to face up to how profound these changes are likely to be and try to position our institutions appropriately. Next slide, please. From this, I think we can say that, as Schwab says, the response to it must be integrated and comprehensive, involving all stakeholders of the global polity, from the public and private sectors to academia and civil society. Easily said, hard to do. And once again, living in the midst of the pandemic allows us to look past this revolution, which was well on the way to happening before the onset of COVID-19. And when we master COVID-19 and try to go back to something that we will describe as normal, we will discover that the elements of the fourth industrial revolution have been proceeding along not only apace, but in fact stimulated by the crisis itself. So Schwab goes on, in this regard, the advent of the fourth industrial revolution constitutes a major set of novel strategic factors for our generation. Our generation is fundamentally different than the one that preceded it. The generation prior to 2016 and the generation after 2016 are fundamentally different. And there are a host of kinds of research that we can do to demonstrate this in the various ways in which industry and finance and et cetera, have proceeded. Next slide, please. So a sampling of important elements of the emergent revolution. I just picked out these 4 aspects of research that will benefit from currently advancing technology, and see in your own institution whether these have any effect. Reducing research costs and timelines. Now, one of the things that we saw in the pandemic, certainly in the United States and in Europe and in India and in other kinds of places, is that crisis allows you to do things that you can't do in other kinds of situations. So the fourth industrial revolution can be seen as a kind of crisis, which simply allows us to do things in a way that we didn't do before. A second variable here are the transforming operations, how we do things. And we heard some conversation, I heard Kaho talk at length about how the pandemic had in effect, I'll use my language rather than his, caused Lingnan to transform its operations because it simply couldn't do what it did before. And what this argument says is that it won't need the pandemic to do this. This will happen routinely as a matter of the kinds of social changes that will be proceeding out of the fourth industrial revolution. And these enhance the research and development processes. Again, we could talk at considerable length about how this, in fact, has happened with the pandemic. And what we did in the pandemic was something never been done in the history of the world, which is create a vaccine within a year. If you had said that to 99 out of 100 scientists 2 years ago, they would have told you you're mad. But crisis simply allows you to do things that you otherwise could not do. And that leads to the fourth aspect, is that innovation comes to be based on new ideas and theories, not simply modifications of what we have come to expect, but where there's genuine novelty involved. Breakstone argues that fourth IR augments human efficiency and productivity. It enhances the human ability to innovate in these three ways by creating space for innovation. And once again, we have done that over the last 5-6 years, stimulated by the pandemic. By finding novel patterns in data, analyzing trends, and generating new data sets and research designs. We could talk for a long time about this, but once again, the literature, which is just blossoming out about the fourth industrial revolution, is largely about how it allows us to do these kinds of things. And by demonstrating creativity and thus allowing professionals to exercise their abilities and contribute more flexibly. I would interpret what Kaho talked about just a while ago is the Lingnan faculty demonstrating its creativity. And once again, that is stimulated by the crisis of COVID and not by the fourth industrial revolution. But I want to continue to make the argument that the nature of these crises is not separable. They're occurring at the same time. And we could have a long conversation, and I've got just a bit of a slide here on it, about what the future of distance education is going to be over the next 5 to 8 years. And it's, I think, quite remarkable. Next slide, please. So I tried to pick out some trends that will show up here with some of the operational implications. One is changes in the purpose of teaching. Dewan says the purpose of education has transformed into leading innovations and practices. We are much less involved in teaching the rising generation what the previous generation has learned, and much more in trying to instruct the rising generation into being innovators themselves and to expand their creativity. Once again, if you just look at the language that Kaho used in talking about Lingnan and the notion of creativity, imagination, and critical thinking, I think are all part of that. The second trend is changes in teaching methods and settings. And once again, you can just see what Kaho described as that. But we need to recognize that that's happening all over the world, and it's happening in different kinds of ways. What was happening prior to the pandemic in terms of what we were calling distance education has opened up into a subject matter radically different from that. And if you're interested, I invite you to send me an email, and I'd be happy to share a good deal of references with you. But the digital tools which are becoming available to teachers gives them platforms for more interactive teaching activities far beyond what we thought of 10, 12 months ago as online education. And we've all been experiencing online education. What I think we need to realize is that the variations and the differences that have occurred have been rather extraordinary. Next, please. The third trend are changes in the teaching of content, in teaching settings and methods. I use the example here, the flipped classroom, in part because it has been so widely adopted in so many places, but it literally changes the relationship between the faculty member as the articulator and pronouncer of received wisdom, and empowers the student as the thinker, as the learner, as the person to use the faculty member as a resource for their own development. The fourth changes are changes in assessment and feedback. And this is a long subject that everybody who has tried to run a university is deeply involved in. But part of the argument that I'm finding in the literature is that all of that structure that we put in terms of the notion of having fixed final examinations based upon fixed content may be on the way out. And if so, it will be a revolution of significant proportion. And finally, the fifth trend here are changes in the role of teachers. Once again, as we say in the United States, we have moved from the notion of the sage on the stage, the source of all relevant knowledge, to the guide on the side for the teacher. The purpose of the teacher is not to do what everyone's laptop can do 1,000 times better, which is fill the student's head with data, but to encourage ways of thinking and to provide the kinds of avenues that will allow students to experience their own creativity. Next, please. So just quickly, because I'm almost have no time here, I just wanted to suggest some of the strategic implications of this, that AI becomes vital for human ability to innovate by creating space for innovation, by finding novel patterns in data, analyzing trends, generating new data, by democratizing creativity, et cetera. Colburn, Anderson, and Stern furthermore assert that AI has the capacity to change the innovation process itself. This will require future scientists and technologists to have more disciplinary training and knowledge. Next, please. And then the operational implications. The open question is, how will higher education institutions face issues of staying current with the changes being brought about by the fourth AR? An enormous question. Might curricula change to keep abreast? Should we reorganize higher education structures to make them more responsive? Might the existing structures of the professoriate change to promote more rapid social change, and if so, how? Next, please. And here, that's where I meant to end. And here I've just selected 5 references that, if you're interested in this subject at all, I think each of these will get you thinking in a useful and provocative way. Thank you.
Thank you for your insightful presentation, Dean. Now let's welcome Professor Ngo Tin Phulan, President of University of Social Science and Humanities, Vietnam, to share with us how Vietnam higher education responds to the various challenges mentioned in Dean's presentation. Please.
Thank you very much, Professor Niebuhr, for your insightful talks on both strategic and operational implications of these factors on higher education, academic leadership, processes, and practices. In my presentation today, I would like to mention 4 main points. First, current context and demand for change in Vietnamese higher education. Second, challenges to leaders of higher education in Vietnam. Third, opportunities after COVID-19. And fourth, reshaping Vietnamese higher education leaders thinking for action with the current context of and practices of the University of Social Science and Humanities, Vietnam National University during the COVID-19. Firstly, as for the current context and demand for change in Vietnamese higher education, it is safe to say that not only Vietnam, but also other countries around the world have been experiencing uncertainties during such a lingering COVID-19 pandemic. The unpredictability and unexpected impact of the COVID-19 has actually considerably influenced on the current management system of higher education and brought out both the challenges and opportunity for higher education institutions. Let me move on to the second point, the challenges to the leaders of higher education in Vietnam. Since the outbreak of the COVID-19, the demand for internationalization of higher education has become more pressing than ever. Moreover, there has been harsh competition among higher education institutions, among local institutions, and between local and international institutions. What's more, when the law on education, the new law has been effective, most public higher education institutions have undergone external and internal pressure of institutional autonomy, especially on finance. One more challenge that has been mentioned in Professor Neubauer is the rapid change of ICT and educational technology owing to the fourth industrial revolution has also made a great impact on all walks of life in Vietnam. So higher education is not an exception. The opportunities after the COVID-19, in my opinion, may outweigh the threats in the current context. In fact, key stakeholders, I mean institutional leaders and middle administrators, teachers and students and society have a more proactive attitude toward the use of virtual learning system than ever before due to the COVID-19. They, especially society, are also more open-minded and get more readiness and higher adaptabilities to changes, especially the shift from on-campus learning to virtual one. In light of the aforementioned challenges and opportunities, I suggest reshaping Vietnamese higher education leaders' thinking for action as follows. First, a need to foster growth mindset among both institutional and middle administrators. Second, the need to apply system thinking, especially in the context of Vietnam. And third, more serious analysis and evaluation of current conditions for better respond the emergent issues and changing change. Next, the higher level of flexibility and adaptability needed. Next is the greater efforts and more feasible solution needed for stronger financial viability. And we need also the better communication of institutional image and competition advantages. And last but not least is the promoting better internationalization of higher education for local program and campus. And how our university, the University of Social Sciences and Humanities, Vietnam National University action. In the confluence of the fourth industrial revolution and the COVID-19, what we have been done, and also as the first female president of the university in more than 60 years of our university establishment and development. My own definition of leadership is that leadership is creating an enabling environment that all members of an institutional can develop their capabilities to the fullest or maximize their own potential so as to achieve its shared goals. with reference to the 4 trends just presented by Professor Niebuhr, I would like to share about what our university has done. About the trend number 1 is there are the changes in the purpose of teaching. The purpose of education has transformed into leading innovation and practices. Since the year 2019, our university has publicized its core values, creativity, leadership, responsibility, based on its educational philosophy, home person, liberal, multicultural, translated into action. These core values have been integrated into curriculum design, pedagogical practices, assessment and evaluation, technology in education, quality assurance, and students' extracurricular activities. Besides, in line with the university strategic plan in the period of 2015 2020, alumni liaison board at the university, faculty and department levels were founded in the year 2017 and have organized many significant activities promoting the bond between alumni while supporting them and the development of the institution. The USH Alumni Liaison Office has boosts the industry university link with the USH alumni support to promote activities related to innovation and startups in the university. And about the trend number 2, number 3, and number 4 related to the changes in teaching setting and method, in content, in assessment, and in the roles of teachers. I cannot agree with Professor Niebuhr more. Along with the development of science and technology, teaching and learning are always improved, advanced, and more effective. The world of teaching and learning nowadays is being shaped by different phenomena, a larger, more demanding, and more diverse student body, pervasive language and quality and accountability, rapidly changing science and technology, and expectations by students and employers that graduates will be equipped for rapidly changing, globalizing, and challenging workplaces. However, effective teaching has to be predicated on an understanding of how students learn. The objective of the activities is to bring about learning, and there has to be insight and knowledge about learners needed for teaching to be successful. Teaching and learning, much more than transmitting knowledge and skills, refer more to empowering students to find their own ways to become an engaged citizen who takes an active role in contributing to the public good, to create change, and to facilitate the sustainable development of the world. It is due to the COVID-19 that changed the teaching setting and method in Vietnam in general and in our institution in particular have taken place as a matter of course. And the acceptance of online teaching and learning has gone faster than ever before the emergence of the COVID-19. The institution has directed faculties, and functional office to modify academic requirements on the integration of online learning into curriculum, so that online learning and teaching has been legitimate. In fact, the faculties have worked out the appropriate portion of the virtual section into the syllabi. Since the year 2020, every course can be taught virtually in 20% and well presented in each syllabi. As for changes in assessment, never thesis or dissertation defense session have been acceptable to go virtually in Vietnam until the COVID-19 did come to existence in late 2019. With uncertainties happening to the world, such as COVID-19, internationalization of higher education, particularly on the curriculum, proves to be a transformative step for our university to offer two ways of student mobility for students to keep moving forward with their study at home institution in case of cross-border limits among the countries around the world. According to the strategic plan of Vietnam National University in Ho Chi Minh City in the period of 2021 to 2025, in a vision to 2030, it is addressed as follows: developing international training programs so as to prepare human resources with high competitiveness in international labor market, with preference to the Vietnam National University strategy. Vietnam National University Ho Chi Minh City is our umbrella. Its member university, including our university, is on the way to some last important step to finalize its strategic plan, in which the internationalization of its undergraduate training program is a cornerstone for its sixth development strategy in the period of the 2021 and 2025, enabling our university to become a leading institution in the region. Our university commitment to experiential learning with integrated internship, local as well as abroad, enables students to experience area of work related to their academic subjects and to explore career opportunities. USHH does provide unlimited opportunities for multicultural friendship and intercultural exchange with values beyond boundaries. The most important practice of USHH leaders in coping with the considerable impact of the COVID-19, the institution top leaders managed to balance between what key stakeholders demand and what the institution has really have. It is safe to say that as a female leader with gender-defined traits, caring and nurturing, I have exercised my leadership with a combination of both we skill, someone who invite the participation of stakeholder, and I skill, someone who is willing to make difficult decisions and be held accountable for them. I have focused much on promoting the sense of belonging of the university staff and the love for the university of the USHH lovers to meaningful and relevant activities. They are change agents that motivate its staff and lovers intrinsically, right from their insights to contribute their own physical, mental, and spiritual resources for a shared mission, a better day-by-day institution. In recent time, businesses have made invaluable contribution to the development of our university as it continues to grow. This growth would not be possible without the vital role played by its partner in educational cooperation, providing scholarship for students, employment cooperation, and the sponsoring of many facilities for the university. And most importantly, the invaluable emotional support for the continued growth of the institution with academic staff when the university carry out shifting the delivery mode from face-to-face to online teaching. I have been fully aware of the technology literacy gap between junior and senior lecturer, and think of ways to create the utmost comfort for lecturer to teach online. In fact, with senior lecturers of low tech, a group of IT members are at hand 24/7 days, 24 hours and 7 days a week to give immediate support if they encounter technical difficulty or problems. Or the university set up a classroom well equipped with network connectivity, interactive board, camera, loudspeaker for teachers to teach as they are in real classroom, but without the physical presence of students. Therefore, with adaptability to COVID-19, despite of many changes related to working styles, teaching, assessment, and so on at our university is the very love for the USSH from all the lecturers and staff that in solidarity, we all have shaped successfully and overcome the negative impact of the COVID-19 on all activity of our universities. That is all what I would like to share with you all about how COVID-19 had influenced higher education in Vietnam, particularly at the University of Social Sciences and Humanities, Vietnam National University in Ho Chi Minh City, and how our university has acted to make appropriate and necessary changes. Change or not change, that matters most in the confluence of the fourth industrial revolution and COVID-19. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. So may I first invite Professor Nhu Bao to briefly respond to Professor Ng's sharing about the Vietnam experience.
Sorry, needed to unmute myself. I want to say three things. One is over the years, recently, I've been so impressed with the progress which is being made in Vietnam higher education. And this presentation simply is an indicator that it continues to go on. In the broader context of what we're talking about as what I would call structural policy and administrative relevance, I would like to just say three things. One is online education does not exhaust distance education as a transformative environment. We have seen ourselves here in Hawaii, little place that it is, that you get students in online courses, and if nothing else changes, very little is accomplished. So that the notion of revolutionizing pedagogy as a result of this phenomena is I think overreaching. What I think COVID and the fourth industrial revolution have to tell us is that the enterprise of the classroom is changing. And we are slow to come to that. My colleague at RMIT in Australia, Chris Sagaris, has done incredible work on this. And I think RMIT is far in advance of trying to ask ourselves how it is that we take what we have received as a classroom in the middle of this transformation and this crisis and make it a different learning experience. And that's what I'd like to underscore with the presentation from Vietnam. I think that this is a massive first step in the right direction, but I see it as only a first step. The second thing that I want to say in the context of Vietnam, but not to simply point my finger there, but to point to all of higher education in China, Japan, Vietnam, Indonesia, India, is that the difference between the top and the rest is enormous. The elite institutions are in a class by themselves. But that's not where most of the education goes on. What we need is to find ways to promote and support a revolution in teaching, in the conceptualization of society in the context of the fourth industrial revolution that spans the stratifications that continue to define our society. And the third thing that I want to say, and once again, this is the context of my remark initially in Lingnan, is I don't think any of this conversation should go on outside the context of realizing how much has been accomplished in such a short amount of time in these places. I've been fortunate enough to come to Hong Kong for any number of years now, and just watching the transformation in those institutions, most particularly in Lingnan, has been really remarkable. And I know Vietnam less well, but I've been there a number of times. And once again, seeing how much change is possible in those institutions should give us enormous boost in our spirits as to how we can come out of the pandemic with a new and bright future in front of us, should we choose to accept the challenge.
Thank you very much, Dean, for your insightful presentation and also the response. Now we will move to the virtual networking game session. All the participants, including the YouTube audience, can join the individual game. But for the group game, because we need to use the breakout rooms, so it is only available for the room participants. I will hand over to Francis and he will chair this session. Francis, the floor is yours.
Yeah, okay. Good day to everyone. I am Francis. I belong to the 2017-2018 cohort. So shout out to my wonderful batchmates. You know, our cohort is still regularly meets online. Thanks to Dr. Yami Suarez, who is very diligent in organizing and coordinating our fellowship sessions where we take time to share our experiences, challenges, best practices, and sometimes in the sessions we have fun games. And I usually take charge of this game. So maybe that was a reason why Vika thought of asking me to facilitate some games that we can all take part in this gathering. Okay, so let me share my slides. Okay, so we will have 3 games, which are very short, and as was said by our host, those watching in the YouTube stream can join And well, no, there are wonderful prizes, no, that UB will be giving the winners of the games. But what they are, it is actually a surprise. No? So winners, no, will be contacted by Vivica or Victoria, no, for their prizes. Okay, so but before we start, no, as I've said, no, we'll have 2 individual games. Now, if there will be one winner, no, for those 2 games, no, we will give the prize of the second game to the second placer, no, just in case it will happen. Okay, but in the group game, no, anyone can still win again. Okay, so is everyone ready? Can you show a thumbs up sign if you are ready for our virtual games? Okay, so okay, so in light of the theme, no, of our summit, no, leadership, our first game is called World Leaders Game. So it's very simple. I'll show a photo of a world leader and ask a question about that leader, and you just provide the answer. Okay. For example, no, known as the Great Emancipator, this American president led the abolition of slavery in his country. So anyone who can guess? Anyway, this is just a trial.
Abraham Lincoln.
Yes, so correct. No, so Abraham Lincoln. No, so very easy. Okay. Another one. No, he was the. Yeah. Okay. So, but not necessarily the name, no, of the leader. Okay. It can be like in this question. Okay. So he was the prime minister of which country?
England.
Anyone? Yes, okay. So you can say United Kingdom or Great Britain or England, okay? Those will be accepted, okay? But okay, reminder, no? Because our judges are strict, no? Proper name should begin in capital letter, okay? So you have to put U, for example, or K in capital, okay? So that's one of the rules. And it's not just a matter of getting the correct answers, okay? You have to submit your answers as fast as possible, okay? So faster correct answers get more points, all right? So we will be using the Mentimeter for this game. So how can you join? So go to, so type this on your computer, no? www.menti.com, okay? And it will ask for a code, okay? So kindly enter this code, 18264487, okay? And then don't forget to click submit, okay? And then very important, not change the default name with your first name and last name, no, because there's a default name there, okay? So change it and then click join quiz. And later in the quiz, you have to type submit, okay? It's not just a matter of encoding the answer, but you have to still click submit, okay? So I will be sharing the app to see who are able to join already. Okay, no, so you can see here, no, those who have already joined, okay, and you're actually assigned a particular icon, okay. All right, so we already have how many players? Okay, there are several already, okay. So, okay, so this is still open for joining, okay, so type www.menti.com and then the code. All right, so we have several participants already. Okay, yes. So don't forget, no, big letters with its proper name, okay, and click submit, no, after writing your answer. Okay, so I think no, we have several contestants for this game. All right, so be ready with your keypad to type your answers as fast as possible. Okay. All right. Now, so I think now we can now begin. Now we have the players already in the Mentimeter. Okay. All right. Now, so ready with the first question. We will just have 5 questions for this game. All right. Okay. All right. So ready for the first question. All right. Now, who is this visionary leader who revolutionized the world with groundbreaking innovations in the computer industry? Okay. All right. But actually, now this first game is just a trial. Okay. So just to give those who are just first time in the Mentimeter will not be disadvantaged. Okay. So we are just taking this as a trial. Okay. And let us see if everyone gets to enter the game. All right. So, yeah. So the correct answer is Steve Jobs. Okay. And let's see who is the fastest. Yeah, some answer Bill Gates. Okay. All right. So this is the result of that. Okay. So the first one to answer is Rafael Cabredo. Okay. Yeah. So Rafael will actually win. No, if that is the actual game. Okay, Rafael. No, but as I've said, no. So that is a trial game. Okay. So everyone gets to understand the mechanics. Okay. No, so let us now have our actual game. Okay. So again, no, I will be sharing a different code. All right. So that means you have to again enter a new code for this actual game. Okay. All right. So kindly wait. All right. So it's now it will now show. Okay. Now so you can see the code now there. So enter this code again. No? So go to menti.com and then enter this code 79985651. Okay, 79985651. Okay, so this is the actual game already. So everyone has to be prepared. All right, so we have several participants already in the game. Okay, let's wait for the others to enter the game. Okay. All right, so I think we have several participants already. So, all right, so others are still coming in. Let's just wait for them. All right, so I think we can now begin with this with the game, and I said we'll have 5 questions. Okay, let's start. All right, so get ready with your keypad. Who is this very influential leader from South Africa who led the emancipation of his country from white minority rule? Okay, so give first name and last name. Right, so remember to place a big letter for the first letter of the word since it is a name. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so time is up. So let us see who gets the correct answers. Yeah, the correct answer is Nelson Mandela. Okay, so for the first question, let's see who are the leaders. Okay, so we have Melinda, Sita, Francisca Edang, Lester Ringsi. Okay, so all right. No, so anyway, no, those who are lagging behind, no, can catch up. We still have 4 questions to go. Okay, prepare for the second question. All right, so question number 2. What is this? A leading educator in ancient times, his teachings and philosophy formed the basis of East Asian culture and society and remain influential today. So who is this? Actually, he's a philosopher, no? An ancient Chinese philosopher. Okay, 3, 2, 1. All right. All right, so I think many got the answer correct. So it is Confucius, okay. Some answered Lao Tzu. Yeah, so if it is in the different names of Confucius, it will be accepted, no? Like Kongxu, etc. So let's see who got the correct answers this time fastest. All right, no, so so far, okay, no, so we have a different leader now. It's Ricky Wang. Okay, no, so so far, no, that's the standing in the game. So let's go to the third question. Okay, prepare. Okay, for the third question, again, answer fast as possible. One of the world's greatest leaders who championed peaceful, non-violent resistance to achieve his country's independence. Write his first name and last name. Okay. Okay. So I think many, if not all, know this person. Okay, time is up. All right, it says give first name and last name. Okay, so we'll accept Mahatma Gandhi, or if you say Mohandas Gandhi, it will also be accepted. Okay, so let's see the result so far. After 3 questions, who are the leaders? Okay, will there be a change? Okay, no, so still Ricky Wang, Melinda, Vita Astuti are our leaders. Okay, so let's go to the 4th question. Okay, so get ready again. So what was the year, when this charismatic US civil rights movement leader was killed? Is it 1958, 1964, 1968, or 1974? Okay, so you have 4 choices there. Okay, 3, 2, 1. So time is up. Let's see. Okay, no, so we are not asking about the name of the leader. Of course, no, he is Martin Luther King Jr. But the question is, the year he was assassinated, and it was in 1968. Okay, so some got it correct. So let's see who is the leader now. Okay, let us see. All right, so we have now a change of the leader, and it is Dito. Okay, and Ricky Wang in the 2nd place, and Melinda 3rd place. Okay, so let's go to the 5th and last question. Okay, so what is this? Okay, so get ready. Here is the question and the photo of this world leader. Okay, it's a small photo, but this beloved leader of the Catholic Church was the first pope to come from the Americas. And the question is, he is a native of which country? Okay, it's not the name of this pope, No? Of course, we know he's Pope Francis, my namesake. No? But the question is, what country does he hail from? Okay, so time is up. So several countries were given, but the correct answer is Argentina. Okay, so let's see who is the final leader and winner of this game. All right, so let us see. So the winner is... Oh, it's Anne Candelaria and Dito. Actually, it's a tie. Okay, it's a tie between Anne and Dito. Okay, so congratulations. So I think UB will be giving 2 prizes for our first game. All right, so I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, no, so congratulations, no, Anne and Dito. Okay, and let's go to our second game. Yeah, no, so it's really exciting, no, and I hope you're enjoying it. No, so our second game is what we call United Board Fellows Escape Room. Okay, so this is this will be in Google Form. Okay, so kaya later, no, I will be giving you the link to the Google Form, no, so you can participate in the game. Okay, so it's very simple. Okay, so when you are in the Google Form, you will be asked some questions. No, answer the questions correctly to move closer to the exit. Okay, wrong answers will derail your escape. And so a question is example of that questions will be, in which city is the United Board office in the US located? All right. So now if you gave a wrong answer, okay, so like you say New Jersey, it will tell you try again or wrong answer, and then you cannot advance, okay, and probably not escape the room. Okay. So it's that simple. No? You have to give the correct answer so that you can move to the next section of the room and get out. Okay. All right, but I am a logic teacher, no? So I included, no, some logical puzzles. Okay, like this. So you have 3 vertical lines there, no, and so you have to guess what comes next in this visual. Okay, so any guess? No, this is just an example. No, which of the choices A, B, C, or D is the correct answer here? I cannot see the chat, no, so you can just speak in the audio. Okay, so because in the first line you have 2 white graphics, okay, for the vases there, okay. So in the second line, again, 2 white graphics. So in the third line, no, the one below, you should also have a white graphic, no, in one of the vessels. Okay, so it's either A, B, or D, okay, because C is not in white. All right. Now, in the first line, you have 2 cracks, okay, 2 cracks there. So that means in the third line, okay, the one missing should also have 2 cracks in the vase. So that means the correct answer is letter D. Okay, so I hope you got that right. Okay, so all right. So this is the link to the Google form, and if you are through, you can if you enter the room, no, the Google form, you can begin. Okay, I'll type the link on the chat box so that you can easily go to the link and begin, okay, as fast as possible. Okay, all right. Now, so you have there in the chat box the link to the Google form. Okay, I'll be waiting for your answers there. Who will be the first one to escape the room? Okay, so go to the Google form. To those in the YouTube stream, I'll again flash the share screen, no, the link, so you can also participate. All right, so let's see, no, who will get out from the room first. Okay, so everyone is still navigating the escape room. Okay, let us see who has escaped first. Okay, no, so I think, yeah, I saw some people who have already escaped from the room. Okay, but let's wait for the others if they can also escape. Okay, there are already 2 people who have escaped the room. Okay, but of course, the first one, no, will get the prize. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, okay, I'll show you the result. So we have already 4 people who were able to make it. All right, now 5. Okay, no. So, but we can now proceed, and I'll show you the winner. Okay. So the winner is, all right. No, so you can see there, the first one who came out is Iwan Set Yawan. Okay, followed by Wai Ching. Congratulations. No, and again, Anne Candelaria was able to make it. Anil Joseph Pinto, Nelly Limbadan, Raymond. But our winner who escaped first is Iwan Set Yawan. Okay, so congratulations, Iwan. All right, so let's go to the last game, which is a group game. So what is our last game? All right, so again, let me share my slides. Okay, so our last game, which is a group game, is what we call United Board Fellows Visual Word Puzzle. Okay, so how is this played? All right, so again, this is very simple. It's a group game, because you can work together with your own group to answer all the puzzles. Okay, and the first group to finish first wins. So what is a visual word puzzle? It's like this. So you have the example there on the slide. You have a word presented in a visual image, and you identify what it is saying. Okay, so in this example, who can guess what this puzzle is trying to convey? Yeah, just
personality.
Yes, okay, correct. Now, split personality, okay? Because the word split was split, literally, okay? So it means split personality, okay? Okay, other examples, so you can be familiar with this visual word puzzle. How about this one?
Crossbreed.
Okay, correct. No, it's crossbreed. No, the word breed is placed in the form of a cross. Okay, another example. Okay, how about this one?
Middle-aged.
Okay, correct. No, it's
Middle-aged.
middle age. Okay. Do we have other examples? Okay, how about this one? Usually said by teacher when the examination is over.
Your time is up.
Correct. No,
Time's
your
up.
time is up.
Is up.
You can see there the words "your time" is on top of the square. Okay, so it means your time is up. And all right. No, and last example. Okay, anyone who can guess what this is?
Try to understand.
Correct.
Try to understand.
No. Okay. No, it's try to understand, and that's what you have to write. All right. So you get the hang of it. No. Okay. So let's proceed to the game. Okay. Some simple instructions. So you will be placed in breakout rooms. Okay. I think there will be 5 participants in each room, and work with your group to answer all the puzzles. There are 7 puzzles you have to complete. Okay. As soon as you're finished, one member must submit the Google form. Okay, so we'll again go to the Google form. I'll share the link later. Okay, so one of you must submit the Google form. Okay, and I think one of you is given the access to share the screen. Okay, with your with your group mates. Okay, but just in case you cannot share screen, just work communicate with each other. Okay, and after 5 minutes, if no group has submitted, all groups will be informed to submit their answers, finished or not finished, and will be brought back to the plenary. Okay, is the instruction clear? Okay, I will be sharing the link to the Google form, where you will see the 7 puzzles to answer. Okay, and you will need each other to help to complete the puzzle. Okay, so actually, this is the Google form link, but I will share it in the chat box. Okay, kindly hold on. Okay, so that you can easily go to the Google form. All right, so here is the link. Okay, so you can now see it in the chat box. So go there, then you will. Okay, so but before your place in the breakout room, so try to copy first, the link, or just go to the Google form, so that when you are in the break room, you will see the Google form and the puzzles you have to solve. Okay, so try to copy the Google form link, and then the host will be placing the participants in the breakout rooms. Okay, and again, now I'll just wait for the first group to complete the puzzle and submit their answers. Okay, so we can now have our groups. So Wei-Yan, can you please place the participants in the different breakout rooms? Okay, so you are now being transported in your own rooms. And I'll also share again. I don't know if I can share the link to in the breakout rooms. But Wayan, if you can share
Yes.
the link to the
Yes.
breakout room, so in case those who were not able to copy them, can
No
copy the
problem.
link.
Yes. Yeah, I
Thank you.
have done that. Then I will do
Yes.
it again after
Okay, thank you,
others
Wayan.
enter. No problem.
Hello.
Hi, Francis. Can you hear me?
Yes, Ulika.
Sorry, Francis. This has been fun, but can you maybe wrap up the session in 3 minutes or so? Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Because
So 3
Professor
minutes. Yeah,
Mo,
okay.
has a class to go.
Yes, okay.
And then maybe Wei-Yan, you can give like a reminder in the breakout session for people to join back the main room instead of leaving the meeting.
Just
Okay.
go to the main room.
Yeah, and then
Or
like
maybe after like 3 minutes, I can end the close the room and they will come back.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's great.
Yes, okay. So anyway, now whoever will get the most correct answers will win. Okay, after 3 minutes.
Yeah, I will tell them. Yeah.
We have some really competitive participants.
Yeah,
I have no
yeah.
idea.
Yeah, the
know
answers are coming
answers.
very fast.
Very interesting. Yeah, I want to use it in my class.
Yeah, taking it seriously. Yeah, but it's good. I think they're having fun. Okay, I'll see if we have already. Oh, okay. Very fast.
Me. Well, thank you, Francis, for bringing us all this fun.
Yes. Yeah. Most welcome, Wai Ching.
Is that your role always in your community?
Yeah, in the with co-faculty, in meetings, so that we will not be bored. So we have some breaks, to
That's great. That's great.
play these games. Okay, actually we have
Hello.
winner already. Okay.
So fast.
Yeah, so fast. Okay, so we have the team of the group number 4. Okay. Oh, wow. Group number 4. Yeah, okay. So I think now we can bring the participants now in the plenary. Wayan.
So we can, we can close it now? Or no?
Yes, actually, because
we have the winner already.
Yeah, we have a winner already. So we're running
also,
out of time.
sorry for other groups.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, now they can continue to answer if they want.
They have 1 minute left.
Okay.
Are you sure? Are you sure the first group arriving has all the answers right?
Yes, I checked their answer.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll also give the correct answers for those who are wondering. Just very fast, I wrote down the correct answers. But
right.
It's Ewan, Henry, and Anne.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ewan just won the other
is he the one? Ewan?
Yeah. The quiz
Okay.
about UB.
Oh, okay. And Anne, is this Anne Candelaria?
Yeah, this is.
Yes.
He won the first game. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
and they got together.
Yeah,
Okay. Also.
So yeah.
Who's the other one in your group?
Henry.
Henny.
Henny. Okay.
Henry. Okay.
So this is an invincible
Actually,
group.
yeah. Actually, group 13.
Henny.
It's randomly. It's not my my intention. Okay.
Could you please see Francis?
Yeah. All right.
Francis,
I'll yes.
Could you please see who's the number 2, the second fastest? Maybe we can extend the prize to the second.
Okay.
So.
The second fastest is group number 13. Group number 13. But they did not give their name. Maybe we can just ask in the plenary. Group number 13.
Yes, we have a number 13.
No, actually they have wrong answers. Okay. But what once in a blue moon for okay, I think we can consider it. No? So group number 13 is also was able to get the answers right. Yeah, okay, but the third one, two wrong answers, no? Undersea travel, crooked street. Yeah, okay.
Shall
So
we
it will be
punish the
number
third?
4 and number 13. But number 4 is the first one, okay? So I'll just share the correct answers. So now we are here again, okay? So the winner, the winning group of the group game is group number 4, okay? So they are, the members are Iwan, Henry, and Anne, okay? So congratulations, no? But Viveka said, no, we have a prize for the runner-up, okay? And that's group number 13, okay? But they did not give their name. So if we can ask the group number 13 to type in the chat box, no, who you are, okay? So we will know the second placer, okay? But just to finish the game, okay? So and to give you the correct answers, no, to the puzzle, okay? So actually here is the first one, okay? What is this? What does this mean? Okay.
Travel undersea?
Travel overseas.
Yes, it's overseas travel, okay? Overseas, you can see several seas there, okay? So overseas travel, okay? And the second one, okay? This
Turn
is
the
what
other
Christ
cheek.
told us, no? When we are heard by
Turn the other
someone.
cheek.
Okay, correct. Now turn the other cheek, okay? All right, the third one. How about this one? Anyone who can give the answer? Okay, no, the answer is in between
In
jobs.
between jobs.
Okay. And the fourth one, okay.
Corner.
Yeah, it is street corner. No, the other group, one group said crooked street. Almost, okay. And how about this one?
Forgive
and forget.
Yes, so forgive and forget. Okay. And we have the number 6 is
Once in a blue moon.
correct. No, once in a blue moon. And the last one?
What goes up must come down.
Okay, correct. Now, what goes up must come down. Okay, so I hope you enjoy the games. So Viveka or Victoria will contact the winners for their prizes. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Francis, for bringing us the fun games. I hope you all enjoy the games. And we have completed all the sessions today. It was a truly wonderful journey to learn from all the presentations and discussions. Finally, let's welcome Professor Mo to give us the closing remarks. Professor Mo, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Francis, for bringing us a very fun time. We can see colleagues joining the game with joy and also excitement. So this is a very good look to end today's summit by reflecting upon the role of educator. Educator sometimes could be very demanding, but is full of fun, joy, and excitement. And thank you very much again for Francis. So I would like to thank speakers today for sharing with us about the idea in what way we could become a better leader when during with the crisis, during and also in the post-COVID-19 pandemic time. So I think we have been working extremely hard today. So we very much hope that we have some intellectual food and people now are hungry for some physical food. So after a very joyful moment, and hope that we can work as a community for making our education more fun, joy, and also excitement for our students to co-creating a better place of the world for us to live. So thank you very much for participating in a leadership summit this morning. We still have another half day tomorrow. Look forward to seeing you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Mo. Thank you all.
Thank you, Professor Mark. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for your participation. For participants through YouTube, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Hong Kong time. And for the United Board Fellows, you are voluntary to join the happy hour session. We'll have 4 theme-based discussion for you to choose. You can join through the breakout room and choose the one you want to join. The happy hour session will end at 1:30 p.m. Hong Kong time sharply. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you all. See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye. See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone. See you.
Thank you
so
so
much.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Father
Bye.
Farkis. God bless. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Father.
All right.